Good morning and welcome to episode 8, Craft Here and Now. Today I would like to show you a work in progress. It is a Tunisian crochet corner to corner blanket, and I am using the same stitch that I demonstrated in my episodes 6 and 7. In episode 6, I demonstrate how to begin this blanket, and in episode 7, I explain how to close off the open areas so that you can complete your project. Now, with any corner to corner blanket, you begin at the bottom with the first block. So this is actually row 1, 2, 3, row 4, and so on. Now, for this particular pattern, I find it's very, very versatile. And that's why I wanted to share this with you today. In episode 6, where I started the blocks, I made square blocks. So for this pattern, I did make a few alterations, and I'll explain those. First of all, in the demonstration, I used a number 4 worsted weight yarn, and I used an I-9 hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter. And there were times where I really had to struggle to pull the yarn through with the hook. And I think the problem was that I should have used a larger crochet hook. For this particular pattern, I'm using a DK weight number 3 yarn and the same I-9 hook. So I have not had any problems at all so far. So what I'm using for this now is the Mandala Baby by Lion Brand. And it's 100% acrylic. It's a beautiful yarn, very soft. It's quite a big skein. It has 150 grams, 590 yards. So it does say it's a number 3 light, and they do recommend an H hook. But as I said, this is an I-9, 5.5 millimeter, and it works much better for me for this particular yarn. And I also like to have a little bit of a looser stitch. I don't like it too tight. So one of the other alterations that I made, if you watch episode 6 where I get started, I make square blocks, and I crochet 5 rows, and then I do the bind off. In this particular pattern, the good news is the stitch count is exactly the same. However, you have to add 1 more row before the bind off. So in this particular pattern, I do 6 rows and then the bind off. That was another alteration I made because I wanted to have a rectangular appearance for this. And the other alteration I did in the demonstration, when I did the pickup stitches on the bind off row, I picked up underneath the edges. But in this particular pattern, I pick up on the bind off edge between the stitches, not underneath. I go between the stitches, and therefore it gives a nice light open airy appearance. And I did that intentionally because I like the openness, I like the holes, I like to see that, and I find that it makes a very, very attractive blanket. However, I just wanted to point out, when you work with rectangles versus squares, your blanket will grow much faster lengthwise. For example, the width of this blanket, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I have 13 rows that I have completed. So these 13 blocks are approximately 21 inches wide. Well, maybe about 20 inches wide. And then the length is 27 inches long. So that's a small matter, because if you do not want to keep growing the length of your blanket, wherever you want to stop, just go to the end, and instead of, when you're doing your next row, instead of adding that next block on the edge, just stop right there before you get to that point. So then, therefore, just end it there and do not pick up stitches and continue. So that's basically how you would decide on the length of your blanket. So just again, if you want to stop the length, just stop. You can stop anywhere you want. You just do not add that extra block on the edge. Okay, so that's easily done. And if you've been crocheting for a while, then you know what I'm talking about. But I've only been doing Tunisian crochet for a couple of months, so this is all relatively new to me. And I've actually only done one other corner to corner blanket, but it was the traditional crochet. It was not Tunisian crochet. So this is a very versatile stitch. You can use it for baby blankets. You can use it for making an asymmetrical shawl. You can use it for a lightweight summer blanket. It's wonderful. I love this pattern. And one of the reasons I like this pattern so much is because even when you're working on a small piece, it does not curl. Now, in episode 1, I demonstrate how to use this stitch for dishcloths, and it's the same principle, basically, except you're making a much bigger piece instead of a little rectangle. And if you want to see that, that's episode 1, and I use 100% cotton yarn for that. It works out very well. So yeah, I find that this is just a marvelous stitch to work with, because unlike the simple stitch, this will not curl up on you. I have tried to work with the simple stitch a number of times, and no matter what I do, it curls up on me, and I find that very frustrating and very annoying, because the fabric will roll up on you, and it just gets in the way. So I prefer this stitch, which is nice and flat, and it's easy to manage. So I just wanted to share all those points with you today, and encourage you to give this stitch a try. Uh, I've enjoyed working with it, and I hope you will as well. So I hope that's all been very helpful. And yeah, again, I encourage you to give it a try. Well, thank you for watching, and have a blessed day.